Highly Rainy here. Okay, you got collections, right? You want to know what's the best way to handle those collections? Do you dispute or do you settle? Let's find out. All right, keep in mind that disputing and settling collection accounts have two different strategies. Either one could work. It's just a matter of speed and ability to pay them. Because these are debts that, assuming we've determined that are legitimate, or if we're going to accept that they're legitimate. And so I'm going to give you an overview of each approach and even talk about advantages and disadvantages of each. Okay, let's talk about disputing collections first. So let me just go talk about what actually is disputing. Disputing is actually just another word for challenging the validity or, what would I want to say? Well, validity. In case you don't know what validity is, it your account? Is it true and accurately? Is it yours? And so you can challenge it either with the credit bureaus or the creditors themselves, whether it be a third-party collection agency or the actual original creditor. So the process is you gather evidence, you go back and you find out, do you have any statements, any accounts, the original contract, things like that. If you say it's incorrect or it's not yours, if you got paperwork that says otherwise, that can be used as a basis for the dispute. Secondly, then if you do that, then you want to create an actual dispute letter. Now, there's different variations on how to write this letter, what's an effective template, what's an effective structure. I have specific dispute letters that I use for different scenarios, but there's lots out there. There's no one right or wrong, as long as you get the message out there. Then there's an investigation process where they check into their documentation and your documentation to determine if it's yours. And then, so if you dispute it and it's really not yours, if you're working on your own credit, then the credit bureaus will correct your report. They'll remove that account or update it correctly. Now, the advantages of doing a dispute process is a debt can be removed, obviously, without any money out of your pocket. And so you're not paying off a debt that doesn't belong to you. Outside of paying someone to do it, there's no cost to you. And that obviously you have the law on your side with helping you. The disadvantages is it's time consuming. So if you're paying someone to do it, then that can cost you. And there's no guarantee that the dispute will be successful. And then it could possibly escalate because sometimes the credit bureaus collection agencies will take you to court once you start disputing things. And so that's a pitfall there. Now, settling your accounts is the second way of doing it. And basically what that is saying that you accept, you say, okay, it is my account. I want to make good. I want to pay it off so I can get it off my credit. So you negotiate with the collection agency whether to pay it in full or partial. And so the process begins with reaching out to them and negotiating with them if you want to try to pay it for less. Now, I do tell my clients and folks that I understand you want to save some money and, if you can get it settled for less, but just remember, your focus is to make your credit the best that it can. And sometimes collection agencies will be resistant to updating the account the way you want to if you make partial payments, and they will note the file that the account was settled for less than full amount. So if your ultimate goal is to make your credit the best it can, really consider whether you want to try to get the discount or not. And obviously you want to get it in writing so that you have evidence, and then you want to go ahead and pay the amount once you settle on it, and then press and follow up with them to update the credit report accordingly. Now, the advantages of settling is if you get a reduced payment, you'll pay less than the full amount owed. And if it's properly resolved, then they won't bother you anymore. And then it gets updated from your credit report if they still will allow you to do it that way. And of course, the impact to your credit is not as good as paying it in full, but it's close. The disadvantage it is if you don't pay it in full, you'll have that. And then they may even hit you with a 1099. But just remember, either one will work. So if you want more information, reach out to me.